My name is Jessica Guerder. I am a soil conservationist out of the Nevada field office. Here with Cameron Andelin from Andelin Family Farms. We actually started working with Cameron initially on the High Tunnel pilot program in 2011. At that time, he was just growing pumpkins. Once that project was completed, Cameron asked us what else NRCS can help with. And we talked about the irrigation on his fields. According to Web Soil Survey, his soils were very coarse and he was losing a lot of water and not getting the production that he was interested in. So what we looked at was converting from flood irrigation to sprinkler irrigation using an existing pond that we were pumping from. And we did an underground pipeline, as you can see behind us here, and wheel lines, which you can also see behind us.
Yeah, my name is Cameron Andelin, Andelin Family Farm, and we're in the heart of Spanish Springs. Years ago, this whole valley was made up of farms, and as the different farms sold and the farms around us sold, we ultimately had a little less water resources to use. All the fields out here were pasture and hay fields that were all flood irrigated, and it was amazing. As a kid growing up, I flood irrigated and didn't appreciate how well it worked and its challenges until I was an adult trying to do it all on my own. But as we converted some of our fields, particularly when we made this field from a pasture into a cornfield, we found that flood irrigating or furrow irrigating on cultivated land is pretty difficult with erosion problems. And we spent a lot of time flood irrigating. So the next year we tried something new where we actually did the whole thing on drip, which was really challenging in other ways. And so we were looking for ways that we could improve not only in this field, but our other fields, our efficiency with our limited water. How could we better use it? So one of the things that we found after we did the corn in the same field a couple of years is each year as we would disc it and get it ready to plant again, to me it seemed like the soil was becoming harder or more difficult to till. I met James Comar, and he did some soil tests and samples, and we were talking about it, and he gave some good ideas.
Cameron Andelin was actually my first client that we tried to do a whole package of not only working with Cameron on those immediate needs such as irrigation, but also taking a look at his soil and being able to respond to some of his observations and concerns about the workability of the soil, the salt spots, the lower production than he preferred. Those kind of issues that lends itself to a little bit more deep digging and assessment of what's really happening.
I feel like with two things. One, we had a wheel line here that enabled us to irrigate it in a dry point in the winter, and then the ideas of different covers. And so that was our goal, is to get something established on this field in the winter, which we hadn't been able to yet. So this year we're excited. As you can see behind me, we got it going. We have a mix of clover, hairy vetch, tillage radish, and some wheat and rye. I'm excited that it's growing well. We've got a couple animals in there grazing it, and excited to see how it tills up this spring.
Cameron agreed to the idea that we would send samples off for some laboratory analysis, because soil health is not about just those physical and chemical properties, but it's about the biological aspects of soil and how those physical and chemical properties affect soil performance. So working with Cameron, my aim was to figure out operationally how we can integrate cover into his corn maze by increasing the diversity of plants and making sure that we have good residue cover on the soils and making sure that we're not disturbing the soil too much.
Okay, so we've got the taller grass is our cereal rye, the ones with the white flowers. This is our buckwheat. We've got a little hairy vetch right down here. It's got a purple flower on it, and then there's some tillage radish and the clover. We've got berseem clover in here also. So basically the process was I put in the cows like I do every year, and they graze it, and they start knocking down the stalks, and then when they're done eating what they can get out of here, I come through with a bush hog and just kind of chop everything just to flatten it out. And then after it was flattened out, I broadcast seed and then that was how I got the seed down. Yeah, I was a little doubtful at first because a lot of these seeds don't germinate. The cereal rye germinates at around 40 something degrees. And so it came up first, and I was thinking, well, that was a waste of money because the cereal rye is really cheap, but the other stuff's expensive. The other concern I had was, did it get seed to soil contact with all this chopped up corn on top, corn stalks? So I was a little worried and kind of stressed, and there were times where I thought, oh, that was just a waste of money. but as the temperatures warmed up, we started getting this other stuff.
We have a radish that emerged from the ground, and what it's hitting is a plow pan or some other compaction layer within the soils. And this is actually probably not great, but if he does multiple years of a 4-way or 5-way mix, we hope to break up this plow pan and make things a lot easier. That, in combination with his no-till practices that he plans on using, should help improve his soil in the long run.
I'm actually surprised we have as much as we do. I'm excited about it, and next year I want to try doing it a little different, where I would maybe broadcast the seed the same time the cows are in, and then as the corn stalks get knocked down, that it will provide cover for the seed through the winter, and then when it warms up enough, that they'll come up.
The kinds of plants that are out here now are working well to break this soil up, to increase its workability, to improve that organic matter base, which is the food in which the biology thrives on. And once those biology are in a place where they're working 100% for Cameron and what he needs from them, they're giving back to him in terms of soil performance. So all in all, it's been really a great experience. Our first year cover crop is doing really well, and we have a happy producer, and we're excited to go forward with some more experimentation to see how we can even make it better for Cameron.